Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 6th week of our online English classes. So, how was your weekend? I hope you had a great time. In the first session, Gedin Thagela discussed with you about poetry reading. What are the things that you need to remember when you are doing a reading of poetry? So, my session would be on poetry writing. Okay, so prior to begin with my session for today, let me quickly recap what we have done last week. I hope during the last 5 days you haven't forgotten what you have learned. So, in my session last week, what we did was what we did on text structure and craft, right? What we did was when we talked about text structure and craft, we learned about the major differences, right? We learned about the major differences amongst poetry, prose and drama, right? What we did was major, or you can say the basic differences among or between poetry, prose and drama. Okay, so there what did we learn? Okay, we learned about what a piece of poetry looks like, right? We talked about how a piece of poetry is similar or dissimilar in you can say if you look at prose or drama. So, we learned that in poetry, prose, drama, the purpose of doing that is to entertain, right, the readers. So, that is the common thing between these three, amongst these three genre of literature. So, we learned that whereas in poetry we have lines, in prose we have sentences. In poetry we have stanza, in prose we have paragraphs. So, the lines in a poetry form a stanza, whereas sentences in prose forms a paragraph. And then in drama we have acts and scenes. The scenes are like the chapters in a prose. So, we compared, right, we looked at the different elements of poetry, we looked at the different elements of prose and drama. So, we learned about how the elements of a prose is quite similar to the elements of a story, because usually story is in the form of prose, right? And we also learned about so the elements. Other than that, what else did we learn in poetry, in prose, in drama? How we can identify by looking at the structure, right? By just looking at the structure of the written piece, how we can identify whether the written piece is a piece of poetry or a prose or drama, right? We also learned about the way the characters and the dialogues are written in a drama. The name of the characters are to be written in bold, right, or capital letter on the left side, and the dialogue, and between the dialogue and the name of the character we use a colon, right? Just because I hope you remember, I'm just trying to quickly brush up. Okay, so yes, and then what else did we learn? This was on the first day, and the second day we learned about oral presentation and what else? We learned about active listening, isn't it? So, I hope you remember Gedis Thargela and I did a small role play, right, to demonstrate the different models of listening. Okay, so when it comes to listening, so we learned about competitive listening, passive listening and active listening, right? Competitive listening is when you interrupt, right? Rather than listening to the speaker, you try to express your point of view, you jump in, isn't it? And then in passive listening, you are just listening and you are not doing anything, you are not responding, okay? The kind of thing that the speaker might expect from you, you are not doing that, you are just listening. So for active listening, what are the things that you need to remember? The small utterances to show that you are listening to the speaker, right? And in active listening, you have to like the importance of eye contact, your body language, isn't it? So I told you that non-verbal communication plays a very, very important role, okay? And if you remember, I even showed you a small video clip of Mr. Bean, right? To show the importance of non-verbal communication. So, and I requested you to do active listening, okay? Rather than just hearing, you have to do listening, and not just listening, but active listening, okay? And in the oral presentation, I told you whenever you are doing some oral presentation, how you have to present yourself, your body language, your eye contact, how you are going to address the audience, okay? So everything counts, and the very basic things were discussed, okay? And this is just to help you quickly remember that, oh, we learned these things last week, okay? So these were all for, okay, recap and review, okay? So what we are going to do today is on poetry writing, okay? So how many of you love writing poetry? I guess most of you, okay? So Nargila already told you about poetry reading, okay? So mine one here is for on writing, okay? So sometimes your teachers tell you to write a piece of poetry, isn't it? Do you find it interesting? Do you find it fun, or you find it very difficult? Yes, the answer may be different, right? Because different students have different choices. Some of you feel reciting poetry more comfortable. You are more comfortable at reciting poetry than writing. Some of you may be more comfortable at writing poetry rather than reciting and presenting to the class. Isn't it? Individual differences, okay? So I love writing poetry. Okay, so what we are going to do today is we are going to look at what are the things that you need to keep in mind when it comes to poetry. Okay, look at the slide. So I have few definitions of poetry written by some poets, okay? Though there are a lot of definitions for poetry, okay? Different people have different ways of expressing, or you can say defining, what poetry is. So the first one here is by S.T. Coleridge, okay, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, a famous poet. The best words in their best order, okay. The spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. This is by William Wordsworth, you all know, right, a famous nature poet. So in the first session, Gedinzadagela at the beginning of his session recited a poem, is from Solitary Reaper by William Wordsworth, right? Behold her single in the field, right? So this is by William Wordsworth. So you have a lot of beautiful pieces of nature poem written by William Wordsworth. Poetry is a thing of beauty, beauty of form, beauty of thought, mood and feeling. This is by an Indian poet, S. Subramaniam. So poetry is a thing of beauty. Okay, beauty not just of form, but beauty of thought, mood and feeling. Poetry is one kind of creative writing. If you remember, when we learned about types of writing, we talked about creative writing as well. And so poetry is one kind of creative writing. It is like music in many ways. How? It has sounds and rhythms for us to hear. That's why poetry is compared to music. Because in music you have sounds and rhythms, isn't it? So in poetry, the poets create that sound and rhythm so that the readers could enjoy. It is a type of literature that conveys a thought, describes something or tells a story, but not in the prose style, okay, the poetic way. It is a type of literature or artistic writing that attempts to stir a reader's imagination or emotions. I think I shared this definition in my last session when I told you about the major differences between poetry, prose and drama. Okay. Now we look at the types of poetry. See, actually there are so many different types of poetry. If we look at all the types of poetry one by one, there are so many different types of poetry. Okay, you have narrative, you have descriptive, you have lyric poetry, you have ballad, you have elegy, you have acrostic poem, limericks, haiku. So you just keep naming, right? But what are the types of poem that I have in a way brought here, or I'm going to discuss is based on your level of understanding in a way, right? We can't touch all the types of poetry. Okay, rhymed poem. Okay, so this is the first kind of poem I think you learn as a child, if you remember all the nursery rhymes, isn't it? So they are all examples of rhymed poem or poem. Okay, narrative poem. So a poem that narrates a kind of story. Haiku. Okay, I think Gideon Sargila also discussed a bit about the different types of poetry. Haiku is a kind of poem that originated in Japan. Acrostic poem. Okay, and you have descriptive poem. So since you are reading in grade 5 to 8, I hope that you must be aware of this type of poetry. Okay, so in today's session I'm going to take just one type of poetry from here, and that would be something that you love writing. Okay, that's a fun poem. I'm taking acrostic poem. Okay, so what actually is acrostic poem? How many of you remember? How many of you have ever tried writing an acrostic poem? Have you ever written an acrostic poem? Because I have chosen this one because this is also there in the English curriculum and learning standard that DOE has recently developed or drafted. Okay, so by the time you are in grade 6, 7, 8, you should be able to write an acrostic poem. Okay, class 4 students, we don't expect them to write an acrostic poem, not in grade 5 as well, but 6, 7, 8, we expect you to be able to write an acrostic poem. Okay, that's why I have chosen this particular poem for this session. And since this is easy also to begin with. Okay, so if you feel that you have, yes, we know what an acrostic poem is, good. So if you are not aware, doesn't matter, you need not worry, I'm going to help you here. Okay, okay, now look at the features, okay, of an acrostic poem. What actually is an acrostic poem? It's a type of poetry where the first, the last, or other letters in a line spell out a specific word, phrase, or a message. Okay. So just let me help you just get an idea about what an acrostic poem might look like. As a child, I remember we used to kind of create these things. So we were like, myself, including my friends, we used to love doing this sort of things. And so in my class, I remember one, even now, okay, playing with that. Okay. So I would choose to write it. Okay, now I think this will just help you get an idea. okay, of what or how an acrostic poem may look like. This is one sample. So we used to do it in a simple way, right? Tibet. See, do you see T-I-B-E-T written here? So this is something I remember from my childhood. I don't know which class, maybe 6 or 7. Tibet is beautiful, not 6, I think 7 or 8. Tibet is beautiful even today. So this conveys a message, isn't it? This is a poem, okay, an acrostic poem. So what do you find? The initial letter, okay, is capitalized, and here I have just written one word, right? Tibet is beautiful even today. So you can continue. You can write a phrase or a sentence with that. This type of writing you often see, okay. Some of you may not be aware that these are called acrostic, okay, acrostic poem, okay. So those who are not aware, now you know, right? This sort of things are called, this sort of writing is called acrostic poem, okay. So let's look at how you need to identify, okay, or points to remember. Okay, let me see. Okay, fine. So letter in a line, spell out a specific word, phrase, or a message. So you just saw one example here, isn't it? So in an acrostic poem, I told you earlier, a word, phrase, or a message must be spelled among the beginning, middle, or ending letters of a line, okay. Read this carefully, right? A word, a phrase, or a message must be spelled among the beginning, middle, or ending letters of a line. The letters that spell the topic idea must be capitalized. An acrostic poem does not necessarily be a rhymed poem, okay, but it can rhyme. So you don't need to stress yourself in order to make it a rhyme and find it very difficult. No, it doesn't necessarily be a rhymed poem, but you may choose to make it rhyme, okay. And it doesn't need to follow a specific syllable count, okay. In order to create rhythm, you don't need to, you can say, write in a pattern where you have a specific syllable count. You need to count each syllable, how many syllables you are going to use in one line. You don't need to worry about that too. So it's quite easy, okay. So what are the steps to follow when you write an acrostic poem? Choose a word, topic, word or topic, okay, that is a topic idea to write about. The first thing is you need to think about on what topic, on what idea you are going to, on what word you are going to write an acrostic poem, okay. Then what you need to do is you need to brainstorm to get words and phrases to express or describe your idea. So these are all in the pre-writing stage, because see, like we have been telling you, whatever you are going to write, you cannot do away with writing process, okay. Whether you are writing a piece of paragraph, essay, a story, or a piece of poetry, you have to follow the writing process, okay. Write your word or topic vertically down. This is what I did here. Place the brainstormed words or phrases accordingly, okay. So this is on your, see, write your word or topic vertically down. Now this is the next step of your writing process, that is drafting or writing, okay. And when you place the brainstormed words or phrases accordingly, you are again in the drafting stage, okay. And then fill the missing parts of the line, okay, and again in the same step, that is the second step, writing and drafting. Then for the revising part, you need to read to yourself, okay. Think about your audience and purpose, isn't it? Whenever you are doing a piece of writing, I told you earlier also that you need to remember who are your audience, what is your purpose of writing, okay. That will help you stay focused, okay. think about your focus. So what was your focus of writing when you chose the topic? Okay, what you wanted to convey, what is the strong message that you wanted to convey? Okay, so while you are while you are doing revising, you need to look at all these things, whether you have taken care of your purpose and audience, or whether you have thought about the focus. Okay, and then look for and fix mistakes in your poem. That is your editing and proofreading part. Okay, then make neat copy and share with others. That is the final stage. That is your rewriting and then publishing, sharing with your friends, either in written form or you read to them, right? That is the spoken form. Okay, is it clear? The different steps that you need to follow in order to write an acrostic poem. Okay, so if you just look here. Okay, so Tibet is beautiful even today. So I'm just trying to connect with the points that you need to remember when you are writing an acrostic poem. So there was one point where it was written that the initial letter, right, which contains the word or the topic idea, has to be capitalized. So you see, T-I-B-E-T is capitalized, isn't it? And you are writing vertically down, and the topic idea here is on the beginning. So it may come in middle or at the end as well. Okay, it depends, right? Then I also remember one more, I just want to share with you one more acrostic poem that we as a child used to write. Okay. So you can easily read, right? D-I-A-R-Y. What is this? Diary, right? Okay, dear, I always remember you. This is one thing we used to do as a child. Okay, and this particular acrostic also helped us get the confusion clear between the spelling of diary and dairy, right? There are students who often get confused between the two spelling. Dairy and diary. So dairy is like the dairy products like milk, curd, cheese, dairy farm, dairy animal, right? And this one is diary. So diary is where you share your secrets, you tell you just express all the things that you can't share with others. So I remember, like, as a child, we used to love writing diaries, okay, making diary entries. So this is a kind of your friend, okay, who keeps your secret. So this is one way. It's quite fun, and I hope you are also doing all these things. Okay, so this is a very simple one, right? Tibet is beautiful even today. Dear, I always remember you, and then other things. Okay, we try to make acrostic poem on different words as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share with you, okay, one of acrostic poems that I have written years back, okay, and just trying to tell you that not just word, acrostic poems can be written where you have phrases or sentences. Okay, just look at the slide. Okay, a sample acrostic poem. Okay, this was a poem I wrote years back, like before, I think 1 or 2 days before World Water Day. Okay, so you know, in March, I think March 24 or 23rd, okay, it's World Water Day. So for that particular occasion, I just wrote this acrostic poem, and the message is like on the title, "Save Water, Please." Okay, this is just to help you get idea that through acrostic poem you can convey a message. Okay, see, you can just see save, right? Source of life, okay, a precious gift of nature, versatile in character, or you can write form, right? Keeps changing its form, right? Eliminates drought and dryness. Water, water, water. A blessing from above. Treasure in liquid form. Elixir of life. Renewable source of energy. Please stand for water. Let's not waste it. Even a drop is precious. Act wisely and sensibly. Save water to save life, each and every day. Okay, so yeah, it's 2013, right? Okay, 21st March 2013. This is the time when I wrote this poem. I just wanted to share with you today because the topic is acrostic poem. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to try. Okay, so we'll look at the steps. Okay. Okay, so steps to follow. So what we will do is we will try making an acrostic poem. So students often love doing or beginning like writing acrostic poem with their name or maybe name of your friends, best friends, sometime maybe to tease, or you can just write an acrostic poem with your friend's best friend's name, and then you can share with your friend. Okay, so I'm going to try one here with my name. Okay, so what we will do is I'll just rub this off. Okay, so in the pre-writing stage, what was the pre-writing stage? The choose a topic. So like when we follow writing process, okay, we need to decide on what topic we are going to write. Okay, let's assume I just started thinking maybe I'll write an acrostic poem on my friend, but then I just told you that okay, let's begin with our own name, right? So I have the topic already. Okay, so the first step is done, right? The first step is done, that is deciding the topic. Okay, and then I also need to think about, okay, if I'm going to write on my name, so what should be the things that I can discuss or I can just express in the acrostic poem. Okay, so acrostic poem is not very difficult. It's fun because see, you just need to remember, okay, my name, where am I going to keep it? In the beginning, in the middle, or in the end? Okay. So we need to just think, okay, how am I going to do that? So we see, what you need to think is in acrostic poem, it's little easier than other poems because in acrostic poem, you only need to think about words that begin with the initial letter of your name. Okay, so the topic here is something I have already decided. Okay. So I'm going to write an acrostic poem on Tenshi. So what you need to think is now you have to brainstorm. Okay, you need to brainstorm thinking about all the possible words that could define you. Okay, and then you have to make sure that okay, you have to use T. You have to use words that begin with T. You have to make use of words that begin with E, N, C, H, O, E. Okay, so what are you going to do? Are you going to describe your nature, what you are doing? Okay, so you need to think in terms of that. Okay, so so brainstorming. Okay, so if this is the topic word, now we need to think about all the possible words. Okay, so right now we are at the pre-writing stage. Okay. Okay, so I can like I can use the word teacher, right? Okay, so teacher is something I can write. What else can I write? E. Okay, I'm quite emotional, so I can think about, oh, I'm emotional, so I can think of this one also. What else? H, okay. So whatever comes to your mind, you start, okay, with that, okay. You need not follow step by step, okay. Whatever word that you remember, you can begin with that. Okay, H I have got. What else? C, okay. Complicity is something I don't like, okay, I avoid. What else? Okay. Then, okay, so we will first start, okay, and in between, right, you may remember, okay. So you can think of other words as well and then think of whatever fits, okay. So right now what am I doing? Online classes, online, okay, so I can just think of online teaching. Okay, what else I can think of? So now at least we have some words, okay. So what, okay, now the pre-writing stage. So we have kind of brainstormed the words that I'm going to use, okay. Then what are we going to do? So since we know the step, okay, we need to put the word in vertical way, right? We need to put it down. So what I'm going to do is, okay, the first, okay, I hope this is visible. Okay, so TENCHOE. Why I am doing this is so that you can try with your own name, okay. So TENCH. So what is the word that you have in your pre-writing stage, okay, when you did the brainstorming? You have teacher, right? Okay, so if I just want to write one word, okay, I can end up writing teacher here. Teacher. But then I want to write a little more, right? Not just writing teacher, okay? Teacher by profession. Okay, you know, I'm a teacher by profession, isn't it? My job or my profession is teaching, right? I'm a teacher. So teacher by profession. Okay, now that sounds better. So now E. Emotional, right? We have the word emotional. So emotional by nature. N. Okay, during brainstorming, I didn't get a word that begin with N. Now, emotional by nature. When I wrote this, suddenly the word clicked. Okay, oh, nature. So I can use this word. Okay, I love nature. Okay, nature inspires my poetry. When I'm in the lap of nature, I just love writing poems. So nature inspires me. Or you can write nature inspires my poetry. Okay. Okay. Yes, see. Complicity, that is your involvement in wrongdoings. Okay, complicity is involvement in wrongdoings. Okay. So what do you think? Is it something I love? Of course not. Okay. So complicity is what I avoid. Happy. So I should begin with this. Happy what? Okay, happy. Since I have written in this way, now I need to add more words, okay, to make it a phrase. Happy with my life. Online teaching. Okay. So here online teaching is what I am doing rather than online teaching. Online classes I can add, okay, rather than this. Online classes I am taking. Okay, then this E I am leaving for you to complete. Okay, I want you to make this complete. Okay, teacher by profession, emotional by nature, nature inspires me, complicity is what I avoid, happy with my life, online classes I am taking, and this E, what can be a suitable phrase to complete this. Now, we have finished with the drafting stage. Okay, now what we need to do is revising, isn't it? The next step is revising. So when we revise, I told you the first thing you need to do is you need to read. Okay, teacher by profession, emotional by nature, nature inspires me, complicity is what I avoid, happy with my life, online classes I am taking. Okay, so when you revise, what you need to think, okay, my purpose, okay, was to define myself, okay, my name. Okay, that was what I wanted to. Okay, so I have taken care of the purpose. The focus as well, okay, right, the name and what I wanted to share with you. And now what we need to, okay, looks fine. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to do proofreading, editing and proofreading, right? Next step. So teacher by profession, do we have to add any punctuation marks here? Of course not, right? Teacher by profession is not a complete sentence, just a phrase. Emotional by nature, okay, it's fine. Nature inspires me, okay, now this is a complete sentence. So I need to put a period here, okay? Nature inspires me, it's a sentence. So, or you can think of if you want to kind of connect each of these, then you can make use of semicolon as well. Teacher by profession, emotional by nature, nature inspires me. Okay, complicity is what I avoid. You can add a period here, a full stop, right? Happy with my life, online classes I'm taking, and here I want you to help me. Okay, clear? Looking at the time. Okay, and this is an example of acrostic poem where you had the initial, you had the topic idea or the word at the beginning. Okay, so let me give you another example. Okay, let me write this. Let us have another example where we are not using the topic word in the beginning. Okay, and I can think of one poem that I have written long time back, so many years back. I don't know how many stanzas, 5, 6 stanzas or maybe 4, 5 stanzas were there in the poem. So I only remember the last part, okay, because there I have made use of an acrostic part. Okay, the last stanza I have written in style of acrostic poem, and that was about tears. Okay, so I remember the title of my poem was Lovely Tears. Okay, so and the final part I remember. So in order to define tears, so in the poem I have in a way explained or the importance, or you can say when do we find tears, like when you are happy, you are so happy, you are so you shed tears, isn't it? When you are very sad, you shed tears. So I just kind of had that feeling one day. Okay, so the tears are so important, right? Because see, I feel like there's no end to tears, because there is no end to emotions, isn't it? So tears, by shedding tears is one way when you express your feelings of joy or sadness, isn't it? It's made of emotion, I remember, okay, writing about that. So finally I just thought of explaining or describing tears in that way. So T-E-A-R, right? T. So I just thought of what word should I write, okay, that starts with T and that describes tear, okay. And then I ended up making you are tiny. Okay, you are tiny. You are eternal. You are agile. You are a reflector. So if you notice, okay, this particular word, or I can just highlight this, okay, T-E-A-R, okay. You are tiny, you are eternal, you are, oops, sorry, you are agile, okay, I need to put a period here. You are a reflector, oh little drop of tear. So you are tiny, isn't it? The teardrop, very tiny. You are eternal because it's like forever lasting in a way, when as long as you are here, right? The tears are there. So you are eternal, you are agile. You can say when you have the faculty of, you can say moving, keep moving, okay. Tears, they flow, they move, right? So you are a reflector because tears reflect your emotion in a way, okay. Oh little drop of tear. So here what do you notice? T-E-A-R. Where this word, this is the topic, okay, your topic idea is on tear. So where does it occur? At the beginning? No. The end? See, where do you find it? Okay. So acrostic poem doesn't necessarily has to begin, use that, the topic word doesn't necessarily be used at the beginning. You can use it in this way as well. Okay, you are tiny, you are eternal, you are agile, you are a reflector, oh little drop of tear. So this part I am using, okay, because this part suggests a style, okay, that is the style in which acrostic poem is written. Okay, so I think that kind of makes it clear how you can write an acrostic poem. Okay, so I hope you will try beginning with your own name, or maybe you will try writing an acrostic poem on your best friend's name, okay, or maybe your parents. So just try, it's fun, okay. So see you in my next session after Gitin's Thagila's session. Okay, thank you.